viewers, once more you're welcome to Ness Ika Show. If you are just joining in, this is Ness Ika Show, where we bring you health tips on how to manage your health and to manage daily situations that may surround you. Now remember that I promised to bring you a video on how to manage an unconscious patient. Today we are actually going to see how we can manage an unconscious patient. Therefore, you want to stay tuned to learn these tips that can be life-saving to you and your loved one. Oh my God. Now, you have met someone, you don't know if they are unconscious or they are conscious. So how do you get to know that? You must ask the question. And by doing that, you kneel before the person, you go so close to them and you shout out loud, "Hello, hello." So you realize that I'm shouting and I'm tapping her shoulders. Now, if she gives a signal, you know that she's not unconscious, but she could have been injured. But if there's no signal, then we can conclude that she is unconscious. What then will be an unconscious patient? Unconscious person is anybody who is unresponsive or they are not aware of their surrounding. It's the same like sleeping, but the difference between someone who is sleeping and someone who is unconscious is that the person who is actually sleeping you can wake them up from sleep, but an unconscious patient cannot be wake up that easily. So we do this again. Hello, hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, now I confirm that she's actually unconscious. What are the things that we do? There are just five steps or 5 tips. And the first thing is danger. So an easy way for you to memorize it is Dr. ABC, as in D-R-A-B-C. Now what is D? The first D, today we are only going to manage D. Now, the first D is danger. Remember that you want to help the patient. You want to help that person who is unconscious, but the most important person here is you. You must ensure that your environment is safe. You don't put yourself in harm's way, or even the people around you, or the victim himself. Now, you quickly survey your environment. If that's something you can do within in a few seconds, you quickly look at your environment. Is it safe? Are there noises? Are there animals that could attack? What could have been the problem? Now, if your environment is safe, the next thing you want to do is a response. You check a response from your patient. You know, hello, hello, hello. Your patient is unresponsive. So now we move to the next stages, which is the ABC. A is actually going to be the airway. Now you want to check the patient's airway. You look if there's anything blocking her nostrils. You try to check her mouth. If there are any particles that could be blocking the airway. Now your patient or the person is still not breathing. What do? There's a simple maneuver we are going to do. Now imagine your patient was in this position or some other position. You try to balance your patient, and there's what we will call the chin lift heel tilt. So we are going to use this arm. You put it on the person's forehead. You try to push the head backward, while this hand is on the chin. You bring the head upward. Now, this is going to open up the airways of the patient, because when someone becomes unconscious, it is easy that the tongue can fall backwards and block the airways, and that is going to facilitate death. So when you do this, the heel tilt and the chin lift is going to actually help to open up the patient's airways, and that is going to be a life-saving trick. Now we have looked at A, which is airway. The second thing, remember I told you the easy way to remember it is Dr. ABC, like D-R-A-B-C. We have looked at airway. Now breathing. How do we assess breathing in an unconscious patient? What you can do, you just have to you do this. Okay, now, so while you're doing all of this, you're actually trying to see if you can feel breathing on your cheek. So you're putting your cheek over her nostrils and mouth, and then your eyes are looking if there is any rise and falling of the chest. If there is no rise and falling of the chest, you quickly call for help. You have to remember to always quickly call for help. Now, if there is rise and falling of the chest, or if she's gasping, like you breathe like we don't count it as breathing. We immediately call for help. Whichever helpline you have in your country or wherever you find yourself, you have to immediately call for help. Now, if there is breathing, okay, you can feel it on your cheek, and you can see the rise and fall of the chest. If there is breathing, If there is breathing, we assume that okay, the person is not as bad as the one who doesn't have any breathing. Now, the next thing we want to assess in case there is gasping or there is no breathing, because if you are finished assessing that there is breathing and everything and the airways have been open, what you need to do now is to turn your patient to the position we call the recovery position. I'm going to show you how we'll do that, how to put a patient in a recovery position. And now let us assume that there was no breathing or she's gasping. You call for help, and now this is where the life-saving trick is. The last thing you have to do is to quickly make a decision whether you're starting CPR or not. What is CPR? Cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So you want to keep the heart functioning, and now remember that the patient is unable to do it by himself. So you are the one to give that heart that extra energy, that extra force it needs to keep pumping blood to the entire circulation. So I think let us end here for today. We want to start digesting the aspects of the danger response, airway, breathing. Then I'm going to show you how to do cardiopulmonary resuscitation on a patient to make sure that you actually keep them alive while help is coming. Remember that before you start the procedure of the cardiopulmonary resuscitation, you must have called for help. You must always remember to call for help. So thank you very much for watching, and in our next video I'm going to show you how to do the cardiopulmonary resuscitation, and I'm also going to show you how to bring your patient to the recovery position, because sometimes some of us, maybe you may encounter someone who is bigger than you, and you would need to know all of these maneuvers to be able to place them into this recovery position. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned, and I remain your favorite nurse, Nurse Ika. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the notification button so that you'll be informed when our next videos are up. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.